اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
Join us for a 30-part series on Ramadan of Victory.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says after A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل إن الله نعم ما يعظكم به إن الله كان سميعا بصيرا.
Inna Allah ya'murukum. Indeed, Allah commands you. And tu'addul amanati ila ahliha. That you return trusts to their rightful owners. That you give people what they are due. Wa idha hakamtum. And when you judge, bayna nas among the people, and tahkumu bil adl. That you judge with justice. Inna Allah ni'imma ya'idhukum bih. Indeed, how excellent is the admonishment that Allah Ta'ala gives you. Inna Allah kana sami'an basira. Indeed, Allah Ta'ala is all hearing. So He hears every judgment. He hears every form of governance. He hears every decision. Basira. And He sees how people deal with one another and whether they comply with the laws of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala or not. This verse encapsulates one of the many instances in which Allah Ta'ala directly addresses the way we are with one another, the way we run society, the way we govern ourselves. It is essential that as believers we understand that we are always to be governed in one form or the other by the laws of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That even though we live according to the rules of the land in which we live, we also at the same time adhere to the laws and regulations of this amazing religion and way of life known as Islam. In governance, when we are placed in positions of authority and power over others, the essential quality that a believer adopts is that of justice. To judge between people means that you have been placed in a position of authority over them. But when you do so fairly, do so with equity, do so with consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah further emphasizes this lesson by stating it is a beautiful lesson that Allah ta'ala is giving you. And a final reminder that whether you comply or don't comply, Allah ta'ala is all aware. He hears every word and He sees every action. This verse lays a clear edict for all, especially those in positions of authority. The duty to uphold trusts and dispense justice. This is a sacred duty. Governance in Islam is not merely about maintaining order. It is an amana, a sacred trust that must be fulfilled with fairness and integrity. The welfare of society hinges on the ability of its leaders to adhere to these divine principles. Good governance is the backbone of a healthy society. It instills confidence among the citizens, ensuring that their rights are protected, that their voices are heard, and that things are fair. Just leadership is not authoritarian. It's compassionate. It seeks for the best of the people to do the best for the people, considering the collective good over individual gain. The impact of such governance is far-reaching. When leaders are just, the society is balanced. Resources are allocated fairly, and corruption is curtailed. This paves the way for societal victory, a community that stands strong in the face of adversity and prospers in times of peace. A society governed well becomes a beacon of hope, inspiring others and other communities, setting a standard for generations to follow. In closing, let us remember that good governance is not the sole responsibility of the leaders per se, but a collective effort. As members of the society, it is incumbent upon us to support just governance and to hold our leaders accountable, and also to be obedient and law-abiding citizens. Let us be guided by the principles of the Quran, striving for justice in every aspect of our lives. And where appropriate, and in the manner that is appropriate, let us prepare the leaders of tomorrow. And the leaders of tomorrow are the children of today. In closing, let us remember that governance is not the sole responsibility of the leaders. It's a collective effort. As members of the society, it is incumbent upon us to support just governance, to raise future leaders and good leaders, and to hold our leaders accountable. Let us be guided by the principles of the Quran, striving for justice in every aspect of our lives, and also choosing our leadership accordingly. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our leaders wisdom, fairness, and may He guide us all in contributing to a justly governed society. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from any form of evil leadership or governance and the evils that lay in its wake. Jazakumullahu khairan. Let us take forward the message of justice and trust, for they are the pillars upon which a victorious society stands. Let us become the leaders of tomorrow, and let us raise the leaders of tomorrow. Jazakumullahu khairan, wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.